In this episode, I find the Northwest Passage up to DeLand Springs State Park, explore the state park, meet some fellow cyclists, then have a quick look at Stetson University, the city of DeLand, and sample some of their local brews. Hello and welcome to another episode of Ed Cycles. I'm your host, Ed. In a previous video, I explored the Spring to Spring Trail and ended here at Lake Beresford Park. In this video, I'm beginning here and going north to DeLand Springs. On my return, I will do a loop through and explore the city of DeLand. Lake Beresford Park is a Volusia County park and is located about 31.5 miles north of downtown Orlando and about 3 miles southwest of the city of DeLand. It can be accessed from Interstate 4, take exit 116 and go about 5 miles to the west, where it will turn to the north and become Fatio Road, which goes right to the park. From the beginning point of today's ride at Lake Beresford Park up to DeLand Springs State Park is about 11.6 miles. My return route from DeLand Springs State Park back to Lake Beresford Park includes a side trip through downtown DeLand and is 15.7 miles long. Lake Beresford Park itself is a worthy destination, and it includes a 2 miles long paved bike trail around the perimeter of the park. The main entrance to the park is from Fatio Road just north of McGregor Road. In addition to the 2-mile bike trail that goes around the perimeter of the park, there is also access from the park to the Spring to Spring Trail. It is located at the back side of the park on the other side of the railroad tracks, and there is an underpass to get access to that trail. Park amenities include ample free parking, a permanent restroom with water fountain for humans and their pets, a bicycle rack and picnic shelter. There's a nearby playground as well. The bike trail is located just within the entrance to the park, and this is where I'm starting the mileage counter for today's ride. I'm really looking forward to this ride and seeing all that DeLand Springs and the city of DeLand has to offer. It's a great day for a bike ride. It's 0.4 of a mile on the in-park bike trail to get up to the secondary parking lot and out to Fatio Road. This bike trail within the park limits is a nice asphalt trail, as nice as any bike trail that I've seen anywhere. You might want to consider getting warmed up by doing an extra 2 miles within the park before heading out onto the local roadways. Yes, today's route does include some cycling on local roadways, but the majority of it is on bike trails. This is the secondary parking lot. It is not paved, and I suppose you could start your ride here, particularly if the main lot is full. The next 3.8 miles are on local roadways with low to moderate traffic volumes, and then I will arrive at a bike trail paralleling to Grand Avenue. Exiting the parking lot, turn left onto Fatio Road and go about a half a mile before turning left again onto West Beresford Road. A half mile after leaving the secondary parking lot, turn left onto West Beresford Road. Lake Beresford is located directly west of Lake Beresford Park. The lake itself covers about 795 acres. It drains directly into the St. Johns River. Lake Beresford is known for fishing, and in particular largemouth bass, bluegill, black crappie, and mullet. Stay to the right here to transition onto South Beresford Road. Now you'll be cycling parallel to the railroad tracks. The rails are used both by Amtrak and by SunRail. SunRail is the Orlando area light rail transit system. Just north of here is the DeLand station. It is the northernmost station in the SunRail system and began operations in August of 2024. I'm going to turn to the left right here, take a short side ride down Old New York Avenue to have a quick look at the DeLand SunRail station. This is going down Old New York Avenue, not to be confused with State Road 44. It's about 3/10 of a mile each way to go down to the SunRail station. This distance is not included in the overall mileage for today's route. I'm just going down to take a look at the new DeLand SunRail station because the SunRail trains do accommodate bicycles. SunRail does allow bicycles on their trains. I've been told there's a special area on the bottom level of each car that is made to hold your bicycle, but please be respectful and do not ride your bicycle on the platform itself. Please walk it up to the train. Continuing along today's route, I'm going north from Old New York Avenue along South Grand Avenue. This is the roundabout going across State Road 44, New York Avenue. I'm going straight through, continuing due north. If you're into outdoor activities like fishing and boating, this area has an abundance of those types of activities. Lake Woodruff National Wildlife Refuge is located adjacent to and just west of DeLand Springs State Park. Covering almost 22,000 acres, this wildlife refuge contains many wildlife habitats including marshes, creeks, hammocks, and upland areas. Established in 1964 as a migratory bird refuge, it is at the very western edge of Volusia County. Within this area, researchers have documented 215 species of birds, 22 species of amphibian, and 50 species of reptiles. It's another 7.4 miles to get up to the Old Sugar Mill restaurant within DeLand Springs State Park. All of it is on bike trail except for 1.7 miles on a bike lane along Grand Avenue. Another area for outdoor activities is Hontoon Island State Park. Located just to the south of Lake Beresford, Hontoon Island is a 1,650-acre island on the St. Johns River. Research and archaeological digs suggest that the Native American people, called Mayaka, lived on this island and in the surrounding area for more than 12,000 years before Europeans crossed paths with them in the 16th century. After 2.1 miles on the paved bike trail, I get to a section of the route that is on a bike lane alongside Grand Avenue. I like this bike lane. I don't mind at all. This road is not heavily traveled, so it's a pleasant ride for me. This bike lane goes for 1.7 miles, and where it ends, the paved bike trail begins again adjacent to Grand Avenue and goes all the way up to DeLand Springs State Park. Where the bike lane ends is where the bike trail adjacent to the road begins. Just ahead, the trail switches sides from the east side of Grand Avenue to the west side of Grand Avenue. A man named William Hunton, spelled Hunton, established a homestead on the island in the 1860s, and the island became known as Hunton Island. Over time, the name of the island has morphed into Pontoon Island. Access to the island is only by boat. However, the State Park Service does operate a ferry boat daily from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. The usual outdoor activities are available and include hiking, mountain biking, fishing, boating, picnicking, and wildlife viewing. Wildlife includes black bears, deer, turkeys, bobcat, gopher tortoises, snakes, turtles, and otters. Guided kayak tours and ranger-led hikes are available. As for camping, cabins are available for rent, as well as there are primitive campsites on the island, meaning you bring a tent. The bike trail ends here, just within sight of the entrance to the park. You'll be forced to go out onto the roadway for a very short distance over the railroad tracks and straight ahead into the park. DeLand Springs was designated a Florida State Park in 1982. It is a very popular destination in the summer months due to its central feature, the springs themselves.
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning, dear.
$2?
Yeah, that's $2.
The bike trail along Ponce de Leon Boulevard ends just before the entrance to the park. After paying the $2 entry fee at the entry booth, follow the road around and through the parking lot, and at the far end of the parking lot you'll see a short road that goes down to the Old Sugar Mill restaurant. Naturalist John Audubon visited the springs in 1831. While here, he painted the wading bird known as a limpkin. Going just beyond the parking lot, you'll arrive at another central feature of this park, the Old Sugar Mill restaurant. The first water-powered sugar mill in Florida was built here in 1832. 3 years later, during one of the Seminole Indian Wars, Native Americans attacked the plantation that was here and destroyed the mill. The mill was then rebuilt in 1849, but this one was destroyed during the Civil War. What is here today is a reproduction built in the early 1900s. It became the Old Sugar Mill restaurant in 1961. The Florida State Park System began operations here in 1982. If you walk around the outside of the restaurant, you'll come across some of the machinery used in the earlier mills, along with the bricks and some of the ruins from the earlier mill on this site. It was here that I met two fans of my YouTube channel, Mark and Robin.
Mark is my friend Robin.
I saw
That's me.
Yeah. They are out here in the sun.
Thank you, Ed, for everything you've done for
Ed,
us.
thank you so much. Really appreciate
all
running
your
into you
work.
today.
Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. And thanks for calling out to me, Mark and Robin. I really enjoyed meeting the both of you. Keep on pedaling. This is Spring Garden Lake, and it is separate from the swimming area. Boat tours operate 4 times each day. The 50-minute tour goes through not only DeLand Springs, but Lake Woodruff National Wildlife Refuge. Other activities in the park include 3 hiking trails, fishing, boating, scuba diving, and snorkeling. Picnic tables and grills are available on a first-come, first-served basis. This is the main headwater of the spring, or the boil, where the water gushes up from underground. It is estimated that this spring produces 17 million gallons of water each day. The park swimming area features this spring water at a refreshing 72 degrees year-round. Water depth ranges from 18 inches to 30 feet at the boil itself. The circumference of the swimming area is about 500 feet. There are no lifeguards on duty though, so swim at your own risk. These springs were originally named Healing Waters by the native Mayaka people. The Visitor Center features exhibits showcasing the history of the area from the Native Americans up through the modern era. The Old Sugar Mill restaurant itself is very well known for its cook-your-own pancakes right at your table. Leaving the Old Sugar Mill restaurant, cycle through the one-way parking lot and exit the park through the main entrance. Leaving DeLand Springs State Park, I will resume my mileage counter at 11.6 at the old Sugar Mill restaurant and work my way back along the same route until I get to Minnesota Avenue. At Minnesota Avenue, I will continue east on it into the city of DeLand, work my way through the city of DeLand and back to my starting point at Lake Beresford Park. DeLand Springs State Park occupies 625 acres, all within the original 2,000 acres that were the Spring Garden Plantation. I'm now returning to the bike trail that I used to get here, and I'm going to go down to the end of that bike trail at Minnesota Avenue, and then I'm going to follow local roads to Stetson University and the city of DeLand. The city of DeLand is the county seat of Volusia County. The original name for the city of DeLand was Persimmon Hollow, which was named for a depression near State Road 44 and Florida Avenue where many persimmon trees were growing. Henry DeLand, the namesake of the city, was born in New York State and amassed wealth in the baking soda business. He first visited Persimmon Hollow early in 1876 at the urging of his brother-in-law, who had purchased land in the area to grow oranges. In a very short time that same year, Henry DeLand donated land for a church and for the main street through downtown, which is now known as Woodland Boulevard. Late in 1876, the town decided to change the name to DeLand to honor the man who did so much to encourage the growth of the city. A few years later, in 1883, Henry DeLand donated additional land to be used for a school of higher education. That school was named DeLand Academy. A few name changes later, it became Stetson University. A great fire in 1886 burned down many of the buildings within the city of DeLand, which were all made of wood. So during the rebuilding phase, the city passed an ordinance that new buildings would have to be made of brick. This explains the abundance of brick buildings now seen in the downtown DeLand area. More information on the history of DeLand and Western Volusia can be found at the West Volusia Visitors Center, which I will point out later in this video. It's located within the city of DeLand. The bike trail ends at Minnesota Avenue. Instead of turning south on Grand Avenue, I'm going to go 3 miles east on Minnesota Avenue to get to Woodland Boulevard in the heart of Stetson University. My next stop today is Stetson University. Stetson University was founded in 1883 as DeLand Academy. In 1885, the name changed to DeLand College, and in 1886, the name changed again to DeLand University. During this time, Henry DeLand recruited John Stetson of Philadelphia to invest money in DeLand. John Stetson, who became wealthy with his line of Stetson hats, donated so much to the DeLand Academy that the name was later changed in 1889 to John B. Stetson University. As I go through Stetson University, if any of it seems vaguely familiar, could be because the university was used in some scenes for Adam Sandler's film The Waterboy. I'm now approaching the edge of Stetson University, and the first building that I come to is this one up here on the right, Flagler Hall. On the west side of Woodland Boulevard is Flagler Hall, and on the east side of Woodland Boulevard is Elizabeth Hall. On the southwest corner of Minnesota Avenue and Woodland Boulevard is Flagler Hall, here behind me. It is Florida's first law school. Catty corner across Woodland Boulevard is Stetson University's very first building. It was dedicated in 1884. DeLand Hall was the first university building. It was the only campus building for at least the first couple of years, as the Institute of Higher Education was named DeLand Academy and then DeLand College. DeLand Hall is now the oldest building in continuous use for higher education within the state of Florida. I really like the look of this building, as it reminds me of the 1960s television show The Addams Family. Speaking of which, Ted Cassidy, who portrayed the butler Lurch on that show, was a student at Stetson. Though born in Pittsburgh, he attended Stetson University, where he majored in drama and speech. While at Stetson, he played on the basketball team and performed in plays at the university's Stover Theater, which no longer exists. Ted graduated from Stetson in 1955. Right next door to DeLand Hall is Hulley Tower. Hulley Tower was built in 1934 as a bell tower. Standing at a height of 116 feet, it was eventually found to have structural issues. Today, only the base remains, and it serves as a mausoleum for the university's second president, Lincoln Hulley, and his wife, Eloise. Recent years have seen an interest in resurrecting this once grand tower. A groundbreaking ceremony was held on February 24th of 2025 to rebuild the tower to the original height and to install a new 52-bell carillon.
Behind me is Elizabeth Hall. It is the first major university building to be funded by benefactor John Stetson. It's named after his wife, Elizabeth. It was designed to resemble a typical building in Philadelphia where they had moved from, and it does look somewhat like Independence Hall, I think.
Directly behind Elizabeth Hall is the very photogenic Palm Court, and across from that is the Rinker Welcome Center. And this is the place to go if you'd like to take a campus tour, either guided or self-guided. Within Palm Court is this life-size statue of John B. Stetson, the early benefactor and namesake of Stetson University. This beautiful water fountain is at the center of Palm Court. Surrounding the fountain to the west is Elizabeth Hall. Continuing clockwise is the DuPont Ball Library, the Hand Art Center, and Sampson Hall. Leaving the campus, I'll now go south on Woodland Boulevard with side rides along Michigan Avenue, East Ohio Avenue, Church Street, Rich Avenue, before turning right onto East Indiana Avenue and left on Florida Avenue and go along New York Avenue and through Artisan Alley, before finishing on Georgia Avenue and heading back towards Lake Beresford Park. Heading south on Woodland Boulevard and turning right onto Michigan Avenue. One block down Woodland Boulevard and to the right on Michigan Avenue is the Rinker Native Plant Garden. This is an initiative to transform Stetson University plants to all Florida native plants. Right next door is the DeLand House Museum. It was built in 1886 by Henry DeLand, but today is owned by the city of DeLand. It operates as a Victorian-era historic house museum. Tours are available Tuesday through Saturday. This sculpture is located on the east side of Woodland Boulevard, just north of Ohio Avenue. There are multiple sculptures and artworks sprinkled throughout the downtown DeLand area, and I'll show them as I come across them on my bike ride. Turning left on Ohio Avenue and going about half a block down, I take this bike path that circles around Painter's Pond. Similar to the DeLand Sculpture Walk, there is also a DeLand Historic Mural Walk. This mural here is a very long one, and it is mural number 1 of that walk, and is located in Painter's Pond Park. There are multiple butterfly sculptures throughout downtown DeLand, and when the sun hits it just right, it's a nice effect. I am now headed west along Wisconsin Avenue, adjacent to Painters Pond Park, going towards Woodland Boulevard. On the northeast corner of Wisconsin and Woodland is this mural. This is mural number 2 on the DeLand Mural Walk, and it's titled Henry's Vision. On the southeast corner of Wisconsin and Woodland, on the side of the building that houses Jimmy John's, is this mural, mural number 3, titled Riverboat Landing. Further down on Woodland Boulevard and left on the Church Street brings us to mural number 4, Old Spanish Sugar Mill. I do believe this is depicting the original sugar mill on what is now the DeLand Springs State Park. Now going south on Woodland Boulevard between Church Street and Rich Avenue. On the east side of Woodland Boulevard between Church Street and Rich Avenue, I came across this sculpture. I took these photos of some of the storefronts in this block of Woodland Boulevard. A nice variety of offerings, pretty much anything you could be looking for. The next mural is a little more difficult to find. From Woodland Boulevard, go east on Rich Avenue, go past the first set of buildings on the left, and then turn into this parking lot up here, and go through the parking lot back several buildings down, and you'll see the mural on the left-hand side. East of Woodland Boulevard and north of Rich Avenue, on the east face of this building that's up a few buildings from Rich Avenue, is this mural number 5, Black Bear Family. Back out on Rich Avenue at the southeast corner of Woodland Boulevard and Rich Avenue is mural number 6, Pioneers at the Parceland. Heading south on Woodland Boulevard between Rich Avenue and Indiana Avenue. This is mural number 8, Gibbs Clothing Store on the east side of Woodland Boulevard between Rich Avenue and Indiana Avenue. One block further south on Woodland Boulevard, I'm going to turn right onto Indiana Avenue. Now I'm looking for some refreshment on this beautiful day. I sat down at a table at Half Wall Brewery and had a flight of their beers. It's your choice of 4 5-ounce servings of their brews. The first one I tried was their Blonde Ale. This will be the Blonde Ale. It wasn't bad, but kind of had a grapefruit taste to it, and I was wondering if maybe they brought me the wrong one. It's not bad, but not my favorite, as I can tell. The next Half Wall Brewery beer that I sampled was their Irish Red Ale. Very good. Always a favorite, Irish Red. The next beer that I sampled was the Half Wall Port Orange Crush Orange Wheat Ale. The orange wheat. Very good, very orangey taste. My fourth and final selection today was their seasonal beer, a dark beer, a vanilla coffee oatmeal stout. Definitely my favorite here. Smooth dark beer.
There goes my board says, put in that spot.
Good stuff. For a bite to eat, I tried their fried green tomatoes. It's described on their menu as fried green tomato slices with roasted red peppers and feta cheese, topped with homemade tomato vinaigrette. I give it an enthusiastic 2 thumbs up. Indoor seating is available. Here's a very quick look around at the inside of Half Wall Brewery. 2 doors down from Half Wall Brewery towards Woodland Boulevard is a shop you might be looking for. If you're craving something sweet, head to Pat and Toni's Sweet Things. If you can't find something in here to satisfy your cravings, then perhaps you do not have a sweet tooth. Moving along, going west on Indiana Avenue, I come across another DeLand butterfly. And this thing with a bicycle on it, I don't know, I guess it's a place to lock your bicycle. And this sculpture, number 3 on the DeLand Sculpture Walk, titled A Novel Idea. This sculpture is called a whisper bench because a person sitting at one end can whisper something quietly into that flower at the end, and a person sitting at the other end can hear what was said. Right next to the bench was this piece of art that I found interesting. Not sure what's happening here, but when I looked online, I couldn't find any information about this particular piece. Just across the street on Indiana Avenue is the historic Volusia County Courthouse. I'm standing in front of the historic Volusia County Courthouse. This is on the edge of what's deemed the historic garden district of DeLand. Within its 300 acres, there's 68 buildings that are deemed to be of historical significance. Right next door is Chess Park, and I'll go take a closer look at that. I tried but just could not find any information out about this statue just outside of the north entrance of Chess Park. This is mural number 9 on the DeLand Mural Walk, and it is located on the wall just outside the north entrance of Chess Park. This pocket park is tucked away between Indiana Avenue and New York Avenue. It is a nice quiet respite from the hustle and noise on the nearby city streets. It even includes a waterfall along the back wall. Continuing on Indiana Avenue, this is a county administration building, and at the far end, directly facing us, is the Athens Theater. Behind me is the Athens Theater. It was designed in the Italian Renaissance style and was opened in 1922. In 2009, it was fully restored, and today it features not just films, but concerts and live theatrical productions. It's called the Athens Theater after the city of DeLand, that's called the Athens of Florida due to its emphasis on culture and education, much like the city in Greece. The Athens Theater was originally a vaudeville theater. When vaudeville shows faded due to the rising popularity of films, the Athens Theater switched to showing films. The theater has also hosted live concerts, including a young Elvis Presley, who performed here in his early days. This building at the southwest corner of New York Avenue and Florida Avenue is the DeLand City Hall. On New York Avenue, this is the backside of the historic Volusia County Courthouse, and across the street, right up here in the corner, is the West Volusia Visitor Center, where you can get pamphlets on the DeLand Sculpture Walk and DeLand Mural Walk. Mural number 13 is titled DeLand Naval Air Station. It commemorates the operation of the Naval Air Station that was located where the DeLand Airport is now, and it was used to train many Navy pilots during World War II. This mural is located on New York Avenue, just west of Woodland Boulevard. Look for this sign across the street to find the location of Pill Alley and the location of the very popular photo spot for the DeLand Wings. This is a very popular spot due to going viral on the internet. A dog-sized version is just a few steps away. If you're interested in learning more about West Volusia and being a tourist in DeLand, I encourage you to visit the West Volusia Visitor Center. They have a wealth of information, including pamphlets on both the Mural Walk and the Sculpture Walk and other attractions in the area. The Visitor Center is located on the corner of New York Avenue and Artisan Alley. This is a very popular place on Friday nights as it hosts a farmer's market every Friday from 6 to 9 p.m. At the end of Artisan Alley is West Georgia Avenue. Turning to the left, it's a very short walk to get up to Persimmon Hollow Brewing. I do enjoy trying new flavors of beers, but today I am here to check out the mural of sorts on the east side of the building that gives a general outline of the steps to go through in brewing beer. This long mural along with the Wings mural are both labeled by the DeLand Historic Mural Walk as murals of interest. This particular one is titled Beer Grain to Glass. This painting is on a door across the alley. Now heading west on West Georgia Avenue. One more stop to make. Gotta have my cup of coffee. Trilogy Coffee Roasting Company is a small batch coffee roaster based right here in this building in DeLand. The owners pride themselves on roasting small batches using ethically sourced beans. I found the shop to have a comfortable, laid-back atmosphere, and yeah, I do have a weakness for espresso, although I will drink regular brewed coffees and all kinds of coffees, but yep, an espresso or a cortado in this case is my choice. On my way back to Lake Beresford Park, I'm going to cycle past the Stetson Mansion, the house that Hats built. Continuing in the same direction, I'm going to the end of Georgia Avenue and turning left onto South Florida Avenue and then a right onto West Howry Avenue. I really enjoyed visiting DeLand today. I knew that it had a lot of historical significance, but I didn't realize how much art and culture that it had. I assume probably from the influence of Stetson University being so close by. But I really look forward to visiting in the future and hope that you are encouraged also by what you see to visit DeLand. The last stop on my route today is the Stetson Mansion. It is located just west of downtown DeLand. Built in 1886, it is said to be the first home in Florida designed and constructed for electricity, steam heat, and indoor plumbing. Thomas Edison himself is said to have supervised the installation of the electric system. Stetson University was originally named DeLand University. A later name change was in honor of the benefactor John Stetson. Stetson made his money in the hat business, and this is his house in Florida. The Stetson Mansion is not a museum, but a private estate that is maintained with the original architectural details. This includes 16 intricate parquet wood floors and thousands of original leaded glass windows. Originally built on a 300-acre property, the 3-story, 10,000-square-foot building now sits on 2 acres with gazebos, fountains, and gardens. On the list of the National Register of Historic Places, the estate is available for special events such as weddings and corporate events. Tours are also available February through May each year, and Christmas tours are available November through mid-January. The last segment of this route is 3 miles long and goes from the Stetson Mansion back to my starting point at Lake Beresford Park. I'm returning to Lake Beresford Park at the same entrance that I left it, which is the northern parking lot. It's a non-paved parking lot, and it does have some loose soil, sandy soils here. I recommend hugging this edge over here where there's a little bit more stability from the organic matter from the trees with the leaves and such. I'm back at the starting point today at Lake Beresford Park. I really enjoyed today's ride. It was mostly on paved roads, paved trails. There was some local paved roads, but not terrible with traffic. Some places there was bike lanes, some places there was not. The only place that was heavy with traffic was within the city of DeLand itself, but I really wasn't nervous there either because it was slow-moving traffic. I didn't feel in danger on any of those roads. DeLand itself is historic and charming, and I really enjoyed going through the town that kind of harkens back to the old times, kind of feels like an old-timey feel, like Mayberry. But I encourage you, wherever you're at, to get out and enjoy the trails and ride a bike for fun and fitness. It's always a great day for a bike ride.